A fresh start in Maplewood. As Alara Jensen strolled down the main street of Maplewood, she was quite a sight. Her cheeks flushed a rosy pink from the crisp winter air. Her petite frame was bundled in layers of sweaters and scarves, making her look almost like a small walking snowball. She passed by quaint coffee shops and cozy boutiques, all decorated with twinkling lights and festive displays, in a desperate bid to clear their holiday inventory before spring. Her footsteps crunched over the snow as she approached a charming, independent bookstore proudly displaying the signed Jensen's books. Removing a small key from her coat pocket, Alara stomped her feet to shake off the snow before unlocking the door, which creaked open with a familiar sound. Stepping inside, she inhaled deeply, savoring the comforting aroma of paper and ink. She cast a loving gaze over her bookstore, a place that had been in her family for generations. Alara flipped the small sign on the door from closed to open, ready to start her day. With a flick of the light switch, warm illumination filled the room, revealing the rows upon rows of books that lined the shelves. Before the usual flow of customers began, she always made it a point to wander through the aisles and visit her favorite sections. Books were her best friends, her escape from reality. She adored the adventures they promised, immersing herself in tales of bravery and romance. Within their pages she transformed, one day a daring adventurer, the next a wise wizard. As she perused the mystery section, her fingers lightly traced the spines. She moved on to fiction, marveling at the colorful covers. It was during this exploration that she stumbled upon a new section. Her gaze landed on a sign overhead, self-help. Though she had been the one to organize this section, Alara felt a knot of apprehension tighten in her stomach. It made her feel vulnerable, as if she was admitting she needed help. She was just an ordinary person. Surely she could handle her issues on her own. Her eyes were drawn to a book titled Finding Your Voice, Building Confidence and Overcoming Anxiety. She rolled her eyes, trying to appear indifferent. "What nonsense," she muttered to herself, though deep down, she knew she was grappling with insecurities. Alara wanted to reach for it, to glean its wisdom, but she resisted. "I can deal with this myself," she insisted internally, quickly placing the book back on the shelf. Just then, the bell above the door chimed, signaling a customer's arrival. As Avery Sinclair entered the bookstore, Alara felt her heart race. Avery was the embodiment of confidence, striding in with an air of self-assurance that Alara admired. At just 27, she was a force in Maplewood, coordinating everything from community events to local businesses with ease. Alara leaned against the cash register, captivated by Avery's presence. She didn't harbor resentment toward her. Rather, she sought to learn from her. Avery was known for her tenacity, a quality Alara wished to embody, but often found herself lacking. While Alara watched, Avery dusted off her coat, clearly unfazed by the chill in the air. Alara's gaze was fixated, trying to absorb the essence of Avery's confidence. Suddenly, the door swung open again, and in walked Mr. Dawson, a beloved local figure known for his infectious smile. "Good morning, Alara." Mr. Dawson greeted cheerfully. "Good morning, Mr. Dawson," Alara replied, attempting to match his upbeat energy. As he approached, she noticed he had a small book in his hands. "I'd like to return this, please," he said, handing it to her. "Of course. May I ask why you're returning it?" Alara inquired, genuinely curious. "Well," he hesitated, looking a bit sheepish, "I thought the diet advice would help, but it just didn't work for me." Alara nodded, understanding all too well the struggle of sticking with something when results felt out of reach. She wasn't one for perseverance, a trait Avery seemed to embody effortlessly. Maybe try again? Avery interjected, crossing over to join them. You can't just give up, Mr. Dawson. Mr. Dawson's smile faltered. You're right, Avery. I just expected results too quickly. Avery leaned in encouragingly. It takes time, but don't let setbacks stop you. Thanks, Avery. I appreciate your advice, he said, regaining some of his cheerful demeanor. As he left the store, Elara felt a warmth spread through her. Avery had a way of uplifting others without even trying. Wow, that was inspiring, Elara remarked, surprised by the ease of the conversation. Avery turned to Elara, her eyes sparkling. It's all about resilience, you know? Elara couldn't help but admire Avery's straightforwardness. I suppose so. It's easier said than done. Avery smiled, flipping her hair over her shoulder as she sauntered over to the self-help section, much to Elara's surprise. What's in this section anyway? She asked casually. Just some books on personal growth, Elara replied, a little anxious. Everyone has their struggles, Elara, Avery said, her tone light but sincere. Elara felt a flush creep up her cheeks. I guess. Hey, why don't you try one of these? Avery suggested, grabbing a book and flipping it over in her hands. We all could use a little guidance. Elara felt her heart race again, overwhelmed by the sudden turn in conversation. I'm fine, really, she stammered, feeling cornered. Avery frowned slightly, her expression turning serious. You don't have to hide it. Asking for help is a strength, not a weakness. Feeling the pressure of vulnerability, Elara found herself sitting down, cradling her head in her hands. Avery, I'll breathe, Avery urged gently, her voice softening. Elara inhaled deeply, then exhaled slowly, feeling the knot in her stomach begin to loosen. When she opened her eyes, she was met with Avery's concerned gaze. Has this happened before? Avery asked, her tone tinged with worry. Elara nodded slowly. Maybe. You really should talk to someone, Avery said, her sincerity clear. No, Elara protested instinctively, feeling a wave of panic wash over her. What do you mean, no? Avery replied, confusion on her face. I don't need help, Elara insisted, shaking her head. Avery stepped closer, determination in her eyes. But you deserve support. Everyone needs it sometimes. You're not alone in this. She reached for the same book Elara had seen earlier, placing it gently into her hands. Just think about it, okay? Avery paused before adding, do you want my number? Just in case you ever need to talk. Elara was taken aback as Avery quickly jotted her number down on a scrap of paper. She handed it over, her expression warm and encouraging. I'm here for you, Elara. As Avery left the bookstore, the bell chiming behind her, Elara stood in silence, staring at the piece of paper in her hands. After that day, Elara made the decision to reach out for help. After a few sessions with a therapist, she began to tackle her anxiety head-on. With newfound confidence, she eventually pursued her dream of becoming a teacher, a goal she had always put off. Now Elara was happily teaching literature at a community college, with Avery by her side as her partner. Their love blossomed beautifully, and while life was never perfect, it was filled with hope and possibility. Elara had a supportive partner who encouraged her to embrace her true self, and for that, she would always be grateful. In the end, it was Avery's unwavering belief in her that sparked Elara's transformation, and together they created a life full of love and adventure in the heart of Maplewood. The winter months rolled on, with snowflakes falling gently over Maplewood. Elara settled into her routine at the college, enjoying her classes filled with eager students who shared her passion for literature. With each passing week, She felt a growing sense of belonging, bolstered by Avery's unwavering support. Avery often visited the college, where she would bring Alara coffee and surprise notes of encouragement tucked into the margins of the books she'd borrow. They would chat between classes, discussing everything from the themes of their favorite novels to plans for their next adventure together. Alara cherished those moments, finding joy in the laughter and warmth that radiated from Avery. One snowy afternoon, as Alara graded papers in her cozy office, her thoughts drifted to the small bookstore she had inherited from her family. Memories flooded back of the countless hours she spent there as a child, lost in the magic of stories. Alara had an idea. She could host a reading series at Jensen's Books, a way to blend her love of literature with her newfound confidence. That evening, she excitedly shared her idea with Avery over a dinner of homemade pasta. "I want to create a reading series for the community," Alara said, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "We can invite local authors, host discussions, and have workshops. It'll be a great way to bring people together." Avery leaned back in her chair, a thoughtful expression on her face. "That sounds amazing. You've always wanted to do something like this. Why not go for it?" Alara beamed at the encouragement. "What if I'm not good at it? What if no one comes?" "Then you try again," Avery replied, her voice steady. "Remember, you're not alone anymore. I'll help you every step of the way." Alara felt a surge of gratitude. "Thank you, Avery. You always know how to lift me up." Over the next few weeks, Alara worked tirelessly to prepare for the launch of the reading series. She reached out to local authors, organized the schedule, and created promotional materials to hang around town. With each completed task, her confidence blossomed further. Avery was by her side, providing invaluable support, and even encouraging Alara to step out of her comfort zone by leading some of the discussions. Finally, the big day arrived. The bookstore buzzed with anticipation as community members began to trickle in. Alara stood nervously behind the counter, her heart racing as she adjusted the microphone. "Avery, what if nobody comes?" she fretted, glancing at the small gathering forming in the corner. "Just breathe. You've got this. Remember, it's about sharing stories and connecting with others," Avery reassured her, placing a comforting hand on her back. Taking a deep breath, Alara stepped up to the front of the room, her palms slightly sweaty as she adjusted her glasses. She cleared her throat and began. "Welcome, everyone, to our first reading series at Jensen's Books. I'm so grateful to see so many familiar faces, and some new ones too." As she spoke, her initial nervousness faded, replaced by excitement. She introduced the first author, a local poet whose work had touched many hearts in Maplewood. The event flowed beautifully, with laughter, applause, and heartfelt discussions filling the room. After the event, Alara felt a rush of exhilaration. She had done it. The joy and support from the community were overwhelming, and Avery was right there, cheering her on every step of the way. As the evening wrapped up, people lingered to chat, creating a warm atmosphere that made Alara feel like her dream had come to life. She caught sight of Avery chatting animatedly with some attendees, her enthusiasm infectious. When the last of the guests departed, Alara and Avery started to clean up. "You were incredible tonight," Avery said, her eyes sparkling with pride. "I couldn't have done it without you," Alara admitted, her cheeks flushing. "You believed in me when I didn't believe in myself." They shared a tender moment, standing amidst the scattered books and lingering excitement. Avery reached for Alara's hand, intertwining their fingers. "You're stronger than you realize, Alara. This is just the beginning." As winter turned to spring, the reading series continued to flourish, drawing in more people from the community with each event. Alara began to feature themed nights, such as Women Who Write, highlighting the works of female authors and poets. The bookstore became a safe haven for creativity and conversation, a place where individuals could come together to share their stories. In the midst of all this growth, Alara and Avery's relationship deepened. They explored new hiking trails, traveled to nearby cities for literary festivals, and often spent quiet evenings at home, curled up with books and each other. With every shared adventure, Alara felt herself becoming more confident and self-assured. She knew she had Avery to thank for much of her transformation. One sunny afternoon, as they enjoyed a picnic in the park, Avery turned to Alara, a playful smile dancing on her lips. "What's next on your list of dreams, Miss Jensen?" Alara thought for a moment, gazing at the vibrant blooms surrounding them. "I want to write my own book someday," she confessed. "Something that captures my experiences and encourages others to embrace their uniqueness." Avery's eyes widened with delight. "I would love to read your book. You should start working on it." With renewed determination, Alara nodded. "I will. I want to make it a part of my next reading series." As the days turned into weeks, Alara began to carve out time in her schedule to write. She filled notebooks with ideas, sketches of characters, and fragments of her story. Inspired by her own journey, she poured her heart into the pages, drawing strength from the support of her community and the love of her life. Meanwhile, Avery was busy expanding her own ventures. She started organizing local markets, showcasing the talents of Maplewood's artisans. They both thrived in their respective passions, finding joy in their work while supporting each other's dreams. One evening, after a particularly successful market, Avery returned home with a beaming smile. "Alara, you won't believe the turnout tonight. It was incredible." Alara set down her notebook, grinning. "That's amazing. I'm so proud of you." As they shared stories about their days, the atmosphere was filled with warmth and laughter. Alara's heart swelled with happiness as she watched Avery speak with such passion and energy. "Let's celebrate. We should go out to dinner," Avery suggested. "Only if you let me pick the place." Alara countered playfully. "Deal," Avery agreed, and the two of them set off for a cozy bistro nearby. Over dinner, the conversation flowed freely, punctuated by laughter and light-hearted banter. As they enjoyed their meal, Alara felt a surge of gratitude for the life she was building with Avery by her side. Later that night, as they walked back to their apartment, Alara felt a warmth spread through her. She reached for Avery's hand, intertwining their fingers as they strolled beneath the soft glow of street lamps. "Avery," Alara began, her voice filled with sincerity, "thank you for everything. You've helped me grow in ways I never thought possible." Avery stopped, turning to face Alara, her expression earnest. "You did this, Alara. You had the strength in you all along. I just reminded you of it." Alara smiled, her heart swelling with affection. "Well, I can't imagine doing this without you." Avery stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair behind Alara's ear. "You're the one who inspires me. I can't wait to see where your writing takes you." As they stood there, a gentle breeze rustled through the trees, and in that moment, Alara realized that she had not only found herself, but had also discovered a love that made her feel truly alive. Days turned into months, and with each passing moment, Alara felt a profound sense of joy and purpose. The reading series thrived, her writing flourished, and her relationship with Avery blossomed. One crisp autumn evening, as the leaves began to change, Alara and Avery prepared for another reading event at the bookstore. Alara's heart raced with excitement and a touch of nerves. She had planned a special announcement to share with the community that evening. As the crowd gathered, Alara stepped onto the small stage, her heart pounding. She took a deep breath, glancing at Avery, who stood in the front row, offering an encouraging smile. "Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another wonderful evening at Jensen's Books," Alara began, her voice steadying as she spoke. "Tonight, I'm thrilled to announce something special." With a grin, she revealed a beautifully designed cover of her debut book. "I've been working on this for the past year, and I'm excited to share that it's finally ready for publication." The audience erupted in applause, and Alara felt a rush of gratitude for the support she had received from her community. She scanned the room, her eyes landing on Avery, whose pride radiated through the space. As the applause settled, Alara continued, "This book is a collection of stories inspired by my own experiences, my journey through anxiety, and the incredible people I've met along the way." She paused, her voice catching in her throat. "And most importantly, it's about embracing who you are, no matter the challenges you face." When the evening came to a close, the bookstore was buzzing with excitement, filled with conversation and laughter. Alara was overwhelmed by